Today we rank every kingdom in Super Mario Odyssey by how dangerous they are. So if we were going on a trip around the world, which ones would we feel the best about seeing and which ones would we feel not so great about? With that in mind, let's rank all 17 kingdoms in this game from safest to dangerousest. Yeah. Anyway, let's go. 17, Metro Kingdom. When I first had this idea, I did not think this was going to be the safest in the game, but it does make sense. By the way, I'm only looking at the kingdoms in their final world peace state, after all the bosses have been defeated. And once the story is complete here in New Donk City, there really is nothing that can hurt you. It's just a place where people can walk around and do a lot of fun things. You can drive around the RC car, jump rope, go to the movies to watch Super Mario Bros, chill at the cafe, gamble if you want to, or head to City Hall and listen to the band. If I could visit this place, I would never want to leave. No danger whatsoever, great people all over the place, and a lot of fun to be had. 16, Mushroom Kingdom. After Bowser is defeated, you travel back here where it all began. By design, this place just makes you feel right at home. It's a great place for you to unwind, think about your adventure, and view the achievements you got from visiting the other dangerous places in the world. I know that technically there's boss refights here, but those are in their own area. I'm not counting those. I'm just thinking about the main parts of the overworld here. And for this one, it's about as peaceful as it can be, minus maybe the Goomba Woods, which is the only thing keeping this from the safest spot. Goombas are hardly a threat though, so really, what have you got to be worried about here at all? 15, Seaside Kingdom. You know, I'm used to saying that water levels are the most dangerous, but we're not driving a car this time. Now, there are some enemies here like the Gushins, but when you think about it, what really is the harm in those? All they do is shoot water at you. That can't be that bad. And even besides that, this place really is just a beautiful beach resort. You can chill at the hot springs, and of course, go for a swim and just explore the things that you can find underwater. And one thing that makes this place even safer is that you cannot fall off. There is a huge wall around the area that will ensure you do not fall into a bottomless pit. That's gotta feel really great. 14, Lake Kingdom, the other water level. This one has pretty much everything that I just talked about. You're closed off again, so you can't fall. There's very few enemies around the area, and you can very safely take a nice dip in the water. However, it is a little bit worse because generally to get anywhere underwater here, you would have to stay under for a lot longer, like going through this tunnel or diving down to get inside the giant dome, which does raise a few safety concerns with how this whole thing works, but I'm not gonna think about that. So exploring here is a little bit more dangerous, but you never have to do anything like that when visiting. You could just stay on the surface and you'd be totally fine. 13, Cloud Kingdom. I don't really know what to say about this one because we're just in the clouds with no enemies, and that's pretty much it. We do fight Bowser here at one point, but now he's gone, and we're just left with a small area. And now there is nothing around to hurt you, but I'm still a little concerned with what we're even standing on. Like, how is this whole place not just falling through the clouds? And also, because this place is so small, it's a lot easier to fall off here. That's why I would be a little nervous about going here, but I guess if you just wanted to stop by and get a nice view of everything, you could do that without any problem. 12, Cascade Kingdom, Prehistoric Land. I think this is the place where we have our first real threat of enemies, the Chain Chomps. There's a couple groups of them here that will try to attack you, but it's just like going to see any animals on vacation. As long as you stay at a safe distance, you're okay. They might be a little dangerous, but you can easily avoid them. And as for the T-Rex, well, he's sleeping, and the only way he ever wakes up here is if he gets captured. So I would say this would be another cool place to explore, but we're starting to enter that point where you have to be more careful. 11, Cap Kingdom. Wow, 3 C's in a row. I mean, I guess there's not really anything too dangerous that really stands out here. This is just where all the Bonitors live, and they're just chilling in their hat-shaped houses. But I don't know, there's just a certain vibe with this place that isn't the best. There's a whole bunch of fog here with a pit beneath it, and you are encouraged to get close to falling in at certain points. Also, there's just the feeling that everything here is technically dead because they're all hat ghosts. I'm sure everyone here is really friendly, but I just can't shake the creepy vibe this place gives off. 10. Wooded Kingdom. Quite a lot of machinery going on in this place. That can get a little dangerous with all these steel platforms everywhere, and the fact that you have to run up some of them, which is a little concerning. Also, I'm not too sure how these flower roads are working. I don't know if I would want to try that, and I'm not sure I would want to do the obstacle courses over the giant pits either. Then for the enemy danger, there's the uproots, which aren't too bad, but then there's the tanks that try to shoot at you with their powerful blast. Yeah, I don't want to deal with that during my travel. 9. Sand Kingdom. This place is an absolutely massive desert, and I don't know about you, but that's always just sounded a little scary. The brochure of this place even says the average temperature is 104 degrees. With that in mind, I feel like I would just spend all of my time at the oasis. And even beyond all that heat, there's cacti that can hurt you, poison swamps in a couple areas, and bullet bills that can explode right on you. I really don't know how long I could stay in this place. I mean, look, the inhabitants are also dead. They're skeletons. 8. Snow Kingdom. From extreme heat to extreme cold. So what's up with this place? Well, we don't really have to worry about the typhoons and the cheap cheeps that much, but this place is so cold that falling into the water actually hurts you, and you'll fall into the water a lot around here. There's always been a debate of which is worse, really hot or really cold, but specifically in these circumstances, I think cold is a little bit worse. Maybe unless you want to count Shiveria, because it's probably a little warmer in there, but even if we do, there's rooms inside that feature poison, bottomless pits, and more freezing water. Yeah, I don't think I would want to go to a place where I could just freeze up in a couple of seconds. 7. Ruined Kingdom. Remember what I said before about creepy vibes? Well, this place turns that up to the max. First off, we're standing on old rundown towers that I'm sure could just collapse at any moment. There's bats flying around that I'm sure would not be nice to you. And there's the dragon, still just staring at you when you're at the arena. That's about the creepiest way he could have been defeated. Just everything about this place, the size, the lighting, the environment, it all just makes me think that this is not a good place to visit. 6. Bowser's Kingdom. This place can't be safe if Bowser owns it. It is specifically made to keep someone from entering. Enemies that try to poke at you, bombs being fired at you, and walls that are super high up and would probably end bad if you fell from them. Even after all the bosses are defeated in this place, there's still so many enemies trying to attack you. Also, there's the fact that the kingdom is split up into several small islands, and you travel between them using the wires. That sounds really not safe in itself, and also sounds like a good chance of falling into the void of colored clouds. 5. Luncheon Kingdom. The place where there's an abundance of food everywhere, and an abundance of soup, which is basically lava. That means this place would also be super hot because of all the steam. It just really seems like a lot of injuries from burns can happen here. Not only could you fall into the lava, but there's also quite a few enemies here shooting fire at you. That's a worse type of heat than what we saw at the desert. It's kind of a shame because this place actually looks really fun in certain areas, but we are just surrounded by danger, and way too much of it. 4. Lost Kingdom. Speaking of being surrounded by danger, see, with the lava, you could take multiple hits in that before you were dead, but poison, one hit and it's game over. And man, this poison just does not end. It keeps going for miles. But let's assume you make your way forward in the kingdom. Well, we meet the tropical wigglers, which thankfully don't seem to have any beef with you, but there are these guys that steal your hat, then charge into you and explode. That's definitely something to factor in. But also, if we make our way around the back, what do we find? A bunch of really small platforms right over the poison. Really, what other case do I need? Good luck to anyone who wants to visit this place. 3. Moon Kingdom. So yeah, we travel all the way to the moon for the final boss fight, and if you're just gonna come here, like this, you're probably not gonna be able to breathe. Our atmosphere is way back there, so that already seems like guaranteed death right there. But even if we assume that you do have a spacesuit, you still have the entire moon cave to go through. Yeah, that place filled with tanks, hammer bros, bonsai bills, and a whole bunch of lava. Basically, a lot of dangerous stuff that we've already talked about is here too. And also, if someone is just looking for a casual vacation or tour of some place, I really don't think the moon is going to be their first choice to go. 2. Dark Side. side. Obviously, a lot of the same issues here. Very limited oxygen out here in space, but now we're on an even worse part of the moon. Yay! Also, there's something that's a little unique about this kingdom. Remember how I said I was only looking at the final, most peaceful version of these kingdoms? Well, on Dark Side, even after you get all the way to the end and grab the multi-moon, the boss fights stay there. So that means the 4 Brutals and the mech are always just circling around this carrot island. And I feel like if the bosses never leave, how is it ever going to be safe? Especially if it's the giant mecha brutal. How would you feel if you knew that this thing could just fall out of the sky at any moment? And number 1, Darker Side. What else could it be? We're brought to one last spot on the moon, and through the pipe is the longest challenge this game has to offer. There's lava, fast platforms, huge gaps, and a whole bunch of enemies. There are so many things to get through here, it's honestly insane. Death is all around you in so many different ways. There's just no way that any person could ever go here and survive this whole thing. And even by some miracle you do, you still have no oxygen. So what's the point? If you want to live, never go here. And there we go, that is all 17 kingdoms. Did I miss something? I'm sure I missed something, and I'm sure you'll let me know if I did. But with that said, I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you next time.